everyone, and welcome back to Simply Renee. My name is Renee, and today I'm just going to show you a gingerbread loaf recipe that came from the cookbook Recipes for M8r8er by Kieran Pierce, inspired by Agatha Christie's mysteries. And this gingerbread loaf came from the inspiration of the Miss Marple novel Sleeping M8r8er, published in 1976, and these are just the ingredients. First, you're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you're going to start the dry ingredients in a large bowl. You're going to place 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and then you're going to add in a half teaspoon of salt with 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons ground ginger, and 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon. And then you're just going to mix it together with a spoon. And then in a separate bowl that you'll use for a stand or hand mixer, you're going to add other ingredients, which is a 1/3 cup of lightly packed brown sugar, 1 large egg, a 1/3 cup unsalted butter softened, and then you're going to add in a 3/4 of a cup light molasses. And I'm using a molasses from the company called Grandma's, which is more of an original molasses, but they say it's light. I thought it turned out okay, but you do need a light molasses for this. And then you're going to cream that all together until it's well combined. And once you're done, you're going to add in a different step that's a little bit tricky, so I'll go over it as best I can. But what you're going to do is you're going to take your dry ingredients, and by eye, you're going to take a 1/3 of that dry ingredient and put it in the bowl. And then you're going to get a 3/4 of a cup buttermilk, but you're going to take a 1/3 of that 3/4 cup buttermilk and pour it in, and then just mix it together. And you're going to do this step 3 times. And this is what it should come out to, especially when you put it in a loaf pan, a nice color. But when it comes to the loaf pan, they don't actually specify a type of size, so I'm just using a standard 9x5 one, and it worked out fine. But you're also going to be doing a greasing of the pan before you do that, so just make sure that before you put the batter in the pan, you're going to grease it with some unsalted butter. And then you're going to put in the oven for 40 to 45 minutes until the cake springs back when lightly touched. And it turned out pretty good. I did have to cover it with some foil because it wasn't completely baked in the center just yet. So I put some foil on to keep the loaf from burning, but it did get a tad bit burnt because I was more of a last minute thing. But other than that, it turned out pretty good. And I just had it with some Earl Grey tea, which made it even better. I think you can have it with any type of beverage, but tea is the best in my opinion. And now let's give it a taste. In this area of the crash, we've seen these strong lake effect snow conditions hammering that region, causing whiteout conditions for drivers. We have a crew on that. And that is the gingerbread loaf. It was very good, very tasty. I highly recommend you bake it. I'll leave the recipe in the description. And I thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell. I'll see you next time. Bye.